Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Barrel and the final part of our pre-season AFL Award predictions videos. We have premiers, runners-up, Brownlow medal, Coleman, rising star, and having a crack at our All-Australian team in this video. So we're going to do one by one, get the view of both of our co-hosts. And yeah, I'll kick us off with the premiers. I have
Who are your
the
premiers?
Brisbane Lions comfortably.
Oh,
What about you, Jimmy?
my premiers, the Brisbane Lions.
Wow, what a shocker. I think
Yeah,
it's quite simple. I think they'll use the defeat of last year as a pretty hefty fire, and they've learnt a lot. They can win away from the Gabba now. We saw at the MCG they got also close to that flag. 5 points, they would have been premiers, so they are
could have
proven.
gone either way that grand final, and I reckon the
Definitely.
Lions still have more scope for improvement than Collingwood do. So I have them.
Yeah, yeah.
They're my premiership tip. The MCG hoodoo, I think it's there, I guess, but I think it's overplayed. The grand final was so close against playing against a team who play there basically every week. I don't think there's much in that. So I have the Brisbane Lions. I think they're the best team on
Comfortably.
paper, and in
Comfortably.
reality, I think they're the best team. So, that doesn't always lead to premiership, but I think they're the best side going into 2024. So I've tipped them to win the premiership.
Runners up, I have the GWS Giants. So I'm
Ooh.
predicting an all interstate grand final. The Giants were fantastic last year, played some of the best footy we've seen in the competition that year in 2023. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them improve on that yet again, especially with how good the young crop are. They got some good players in the draft. They're established stars that are all fantastic. Tom Green, I think, will go to the next level. And I see them just going one step further than last year. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see them make the grand final, but I have Brisbane in front just. What about you, Jimmy?
I just cannot see. I'd love an all interstate grand final, but my runner up, I have gone with Collingwood in a grand final rematch. Just going the other way. I think 2005, 2006. I think it will be another thriller, and I reckon this time the Lions will be the team that just so happen to be in front when the final siren goes. I think they're the two best teams in the competition when they're
Will
playing. In my opinion,
will
I
the
think
sequel be just as good as the original?
that's it. It's going to take something pretty special, and I think we'd love to see that. But again, I think they're the two best sides, and I think they're the two most well-rounded sides. So I've got them facing off in the grand final again.
Beautiful. We'll move on to the Brownlow medal predictions. So we'll do top three in order of finishing place. So 1, 2, then 3. I'll kick us off. Number 1, the winner of the Brownlow, I've got Nick Dacos. He would have won it comfortably last year if not for his knee injury caused by James Blank. But I see him winning it pretty comfortably this year with how good of a player he is in only his second year. It was last year. So he should keep on improving if that's even possible. So scary, scary thoughts for the competition with how good he can be. Second, breaks my heart to say this, Marcus Bontempelli. He's come so close so many times. He's probably the most deserving player of a Brownlow that hasn't won one yet. Who's currently playing, apart from maybe Pendlebury. But Bontempelli, he's just a superstar, but he just can't seem to win one. A lot of that has to do with the Dogs not being able to win a lot of games and underperforming with the list that they have. So I have him finishing second. And third, this man, he is just the most majestic footballer in the competition, probably. Errol Goulden. Sydney, I see winning quite a few games this year, and I think he'll poll 3 votes in probably all of them, if I'm being honest. Chad Warner is probably his biggest rival, teammate rival to those votes. Papley, he could potentially pull a few good games out of his backside. Blakey's another one, but Errol will get 3 votes, I'm pretty sure, a lot of the time, and I see him finishing third. What about you?
Mm-hmm. Okay. In third place in the Brownlow medal, I have from the Greater Western Sydney Giants, Tom Green. I have the Giants obviously winning a lot of games. They actually didn't win as many games as you might think, and as obviously finishing 7th in the home and away season last year. I reckon they win a lot more games. I reckon Tom Green goes to the next level, and he'll be clearly their best midfielder, and therefore will poll a lot of votes. In second spot, I have Lachie Neale, the reigning Brownlow medalist, the runner-up this season. You might have a look. Is he the second best player in the competition at the moment? I wouldn't say so. But, Brisbane are going to finish right up the point again. They're going to win a lot of games, and no one else seems to get votes up there. They say, the Lions won by 6 goals. Lachie Neale got 28 disposals. I guess he gets 3 votes. That just seems to be the way it goes at the moment. So, Lachie Neale, he polls, better than anyone else. I think he's gotten over 25 votes in 4 of the last 5 seasons or something ridiculous like that. It's 2-time Brownlow medalist. He'll be right up there again. And my winner, I have got Nick Dacos as well. I reckon if he plays a full season, Collingwood will win a lot of games, and he will poll in all of them. He's their best player. And he's so consistent. So he will be the Brownlow medalist. All going to plan, and he'll probably be my Brownlow medalist tip for every season for the next 10 seasons. To be honest, I can't see any reason, and he's one of the shortest priced Brownlow medal favourites at $5 that I can remember going into a footy season. The standalone favourite by some margin. So Nick Dacos is the prediction.
I think it might be Josh Dunkley's season up at the Gabba, but we'll see.
Really?
This year.
We'll see.
Coleman medal. I really can't split 2 players. Nick Larkey and Charlie Curnow. I really can't split them. I have probably Larkey ahead, just seeing as how he's really their only avenue to goal. So they rely on him a lot more than they rely on Curnow, although Curnow is the focal point of the Carlton forward line. But they have Mackay, but North Melbourne have no one else. So that's why I have Larkey ahead. Just got plenty of goals in an absolutely horrible side last year. So there's absolutely no reason he can't win it when they're slightly improving, hopefully this year. And he's my tip.
I'm very similar to you. The same 2, my 2 picks for the top 2. And similar to you, I think Nick Larkey kicked 70-odd goals last year. I think North are going to be better, but their forward line, there still isn't anybody else who's going to be kicking their goals. So he is the obvious choice for the Coleman medal, and I reckon he will be the winner. 73 goals in a side that won 3 games for the season is absolutely absurd. So if they get any better whatsoever, I can only see that going up. So Nick Larkey for the Coleman medal.
And finally, before we get on to our All-Australian team, the Rising Star. I want to pick George Wardlaw so badly. I rate him so highly, but he's just so injury prone. So I don't think he'll be playing every single game this year. And that's the only barrier he has to winning the Rising Star, because he's such a gun. He's such a good player. So my tip goes to, bit controversial possibly, Caleb Winsder.
Really? Caleb Winsder?
Been tearing it up in the preseason. He's a run and carry, burst, small body, but very damaging meters gained player. And I think in a Melbourne team where they'll be missing Lockie Hunter for the first part of the season, he'll cement his place in at that side, play a lot of games, and the footy world will be introduced to how good he is, because I was very impressed by him in the preseason.
Okay, my Rising Star. I really like that Caleb Winsder call. A bit different, and I like it. But I have gone for. I was really tossing up between 2 guys. Riley Sanders was one of them from the Bulldogs. I just feel he's a pure inside midfielder. He's going to be an absolute gun. But with the depth of midfielders, he's probably going to be pushed out a little bit, maybe with McRae coming back. So I've just gone with Colby McKercher edging him out, roaming the half-back line for North Melbourne. Classy ball user. He'll get a heap of the footy. And that would mean that North Melbourne have back-to-back Rising Star winners, and I reckon that will be the case. And here's my tip for the Rising Star. Other high prospects are also in the mix. I like Harley Reid's chances. He's going to get a lot of inside opportunity for the Eagles. Caleb Windsor, as you mentioned, is another one. Nick Watson, depending on one, if he plays and how many goals he kicks, probably less so than some of the others. But Wardlaw, as you said, there's lots of guys who could win it. But I think it's often those really high draft picks from the previous year always seem to be the guys that get the nod. And I reckon that'll be the case with the pick 2, Colby McKercher. That's my Rising Star prediction.
I like that as well. So
I didn't really like your look when I suggested Nick Watson.
I'm not a fan of small forwards in the general. So nothing against the Wizard.
Don't score super coach points. Is that it?
Yeah.
Henry Hustwaite, maybe. Henry Hustwaite, potentially. Rising Star.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Time for our much anticipated All-Australian team. Our brains have been hard at work creating what we think is going to be the All-Australian team at the end.
I reckon you do your backline and then I'll do my backline, and then we can do just to really outline the differences more so.
All right.
Do you want me to start with my backline? You want to go? You go.
I'll do mine first.
Okay.
From the backline,
Tom
excited. Stewart, Harris Andrews, and as much as I don't want to pick him, but there's no better options, James Sicily.
Now, I think I'm going to read out my back 3 as well. Tom Stewart, Harris Andrews, James Sicily.
Wow. I'd honestly have Luke Ryan ahead of Sicily, especially after that injury to Blank, because Sicily's role now is pretty much locked down instead of his roaming intercept.
Hawthorn are going to do everything they can to ensure that Sicily is still roaming free. But I think other teams might put a bit of work into him because he's such an important player for the Hawks. So he might not have the same numbers as he did in 2023, but I don't think he'd have to do anything that extreme because to make the All-Australian side again. So I've got him in there with him and Stewart, clearly the two best sort of mid-sized intercept defenders in the competition.
Halfback line. I've got Connor Iden, Sam Taylor, and Harry Sheasel.
Okay. I like it.
Connor Iden, that prelim he played against Collingwood, I was all in. All in on him. If he plays...
No,
you go yours.
Okay. I've got Sam Taylor, centre halfback, Sheasel, as you did, and I've got Nick Martin moving to the half-back line, straight into the All-Australian side. I reckon Essendon are going to get the ball into his hands as much as possible, and he uses it so well. I reckon he's going to get a lot of the footy, and he's going to be one of the All-Australian halfbacks for mine.
Solid.
I did call as well. I like it.
Centre line, I have got Errol Goulden and Josh Dacos on the wings, with the centre midfielder being Marcus Bontempelli, who is also my captain.
Yeah, you see, that's the exact same. Is it? That's the exact same centre as the All-Australian team previous, and it's also the exact same as my centre line in this All-Australian prediction.
I think it's the two best wingers and the best midfielder in the competition.
Yeah. It's sort of hard to pick anyone else. I'm sure somebody else will stand up. Somebody we're not expecting will have an outstanding season on the wing, or one of these guys could get injured, or who knows what could happen. Josh Dacos is Goulden and Bontempelli are the ones I'm most confident about. Josh Dacos, very good player. Will he have another season like previous? Potentially. We'll wait and see. But, I do hope they pick proper wingers again in season 2024 as they did in 2023 for the first time in a long time.
Half forward line.
You want to do that or do the
Charlie
half forward?
Curnow, centre half forward.
Mm-hmm.
Petrarca, half forward flank, shared with Charlie Cameron on the other one.
Very nice, very nice. My half forward line: Toby Green, half forward flank; Charlie Curnow, centre half forward, and I've gone with Shea Bolton, your boy, as the other half forward. I reckon he's going to be Richmond's best player. He'll kick goals if he kicks straight, get a fair bit of the footy, and have a very good season. And he is in my All-Australian side.
Solid, solid. Full forward line. My full forward is Nick Suvlaki, accompanied with Toby Green and Isaac Rankin.
Isaac Rankin. Wow. Yeah.
I think he's ready to explode, and I'm very sold on him.
I've gone with a similar approach to you. I've got Cameron as my pocket instead of my flank, but obviously it doesn't really matter. They can intertwine. Nick Larkey as my full forward, as you would expect, predicting him to win the Coleman medal. And another guy I reckon is set to explode. Bit of a different player. I've gone with Jamara Ugle-Hagan as my third tall forward.
I can see that. I can see that.
I reckon he is ready to absolutely explode. Sort of plays as that sort of third tall forward at the Dogs as it is. So he's perfect as that sort of role with Norton and Lobb or Darcy or somebody else down there. He's not the main guy down there, so he'd do well in this side as the third with Curnow and Larkey. So I reckon Jamara Ugle-Hagan is one who will be a first-time All-Australian, and I'm very, very excited to see what he can do in 2024. The bench.
Followers.
Followers. That's right. We haven't done followers.
I have got Max Gawn, Nick Dacos, and Zach Butters.
Very nice. My followers: Max Gawn as the ruck. I don't think there's any doubt. I'd be amazed if he wasn't the All-Australian ruckman, the best ruckman in the competition by some margin, has been for the best part of a decade, really now. He is the All-Australian ruck. Nick Dacos and Sam Walsh are my followers. You're shaking ahead a little bit. I reckon the best player of the final series in 2023. I reckon he is ready to be one of the best midfielders in the competition, as he was a couple of years ago. Has had a couple of sort of, I don't want to say mediocre years, but just sort of stagnated a little bit. But I reckon he's ready to go to another level again in season 2024.
Interchange.
Mm-hmm.
Got the 4 on the bench. My first player is someone near and dear to my heart. My favorite non-Richmond player in the AFL, who is extremely stiff to have never been an All-Australian. But I think he will this year. Tom Liberatore. He's aging like a fine wine. He's going to be 32, but he's still a gun somehow. I don't know what he's eating for breakfast. But Libba, I think, will be making his first All-Australian team. Jordan Dawson, another one. I think he'll be Adelaide's best player by some margin this year, who are going to be a very good side as well. Connor Rozee. And lastly, Nick Blakey.
Nick Blakey. Ooh,
Nick Blakey.
I like it.
I think Sydney will be quite a good team, and him roaming off halfback, I think, could do some damage this year and earn himself his first blazer as well.
Okie dokie. My interchange. Alrighty. Tom Green. Mentioned him before. Top 3 on my Brownlow medal. He slots into the bench. Connor Rozee. The 3rd consecutive All-Australian for him. Recently made Port Adelaide captain. He's a star. He is another All-Australian member of this side. John Newcomb for the Hawks. Probably a little bit of Hawk bias here, but especially with day out early outdoors, he's by far Hawthorn's best midfielder. He's going to get so much to the footy. He's going to poll well in the Brownlow as well. I reckon he'll be top 10, depending on how many games Hawthorn win. got 18 votes last year. I expect him to get sort of mid-20s this season. So he is in my All-Australian side, will be one of the best midfielders in the competition for years to come. And finishing off, similar to you, a half-back rounding it out, I've gone with Kitty Coleman, rounding out my All-Australian side. I reckon with the retirement of Daniel Rich, he was very good to finish the season. Was the best player on the ground, apart from Bobby Hill at halftime in the grand final. And I've got him getting a lot of the footy on half-back, using it well, using his pace, and rounding out my All-Australian side.
Beautiful. I think we got two very strong sides, and it'll be interesting to compare all the predictions at the end of the year, where I'm sure we'll do a nice little looking back reaction video to see how wrong we were.
Yep. Very wrong, I'm sure.
Anyway, we've got one more video coming of round 0 tips, so check that out. We've also got a ladder predictor from both of us. So plethora of predictions coming up for the season ahead. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.